Hello, in this video let us see how to stream data from Azure Event Hubs to Databricks Delta Table. So for this we are going to see two approaches. First approach is ingest the data from Event Hubs to Delta Live Table using Kafka Connector. Second approach is to ingest the data from Event Hubs to Databricks Delta Table using Event Hubs Connector. So both approaches are pretty much the same. Only thing we will be using the Kafka connector in the PySpark code. The first approach, Azure Event Hubs Connector, the PySpark. For the sake of demo, we will be writing the data to the Delta Live table in the first approach and to the Delta table, normal Delta table in the second approach. So both these approaches are done by referring to these official documentation. So I will post the link to these documentation in the description section. Also, if you are not sure on how to get started with Azure Event Hubs, I have posted a video recently. I will share this link also in the description section. So for this demo, I had used Databricks with premium workspace account. So let's look at the first approach. So for the first approach, let me go to the documentation that I'm referring to. So as you can see here, so for structured streaming with Databricks, Kafka connector is compatible. Like you don't need to add an additional library or anything. Rather, you can use this Kafka connector in your PySpark code within Notebook. Okay. So with this, let's take a look at the first approach. Okay. Firstly, what we have to do is need to create a notebook. So like I said, I have premium account. That is where I can see all the warehouse. You can see all the warehouses and Delta Live tables. This you won't see this in the standard account. And then we need to create to get started with the first approach. We need to create a notebook. So you might know how to do it. So just click on new book, and then so I have followed the code as it is in this documentation. Only thing is I have hard coded few values just for the sake of demo, but actually in the actual or the best practice is to add these as a configuration like they have done it here. Okay, I will also show you how to do that, but for this demo I have hard coded all these values like the event space name, event hub namespace, event hub name, etc. So let's go back to the notebook. This is pretty much the same code. I will just quickly walk through this code. We are importing the libraries, and then this in this variable I'm just hard coding the event hub namespace, event hub name, and this is my event hub connection string. So you will find it if you go inside your event hub namespace under the event hub. If you go to the shared access policy, and if you click on that, you will get the endpoint URL that is again hard coded. It is not the right way to do it. You need to put this in the as a secret in the key vault, and then using dbutils or dot get secret you need to get this. Like I said, for the sake of demo I've hard coded this, and then these are all the Kafka configurations. So and then this is nothing but the payload DDL. So from event hubs I will be using the data generated here, so which is I'm going to use the weather sample data set. This will be the data that will get streamed. Okay, So I have given the schema in the define the schema here, and then we are passing that uh, based on that schema. And then this is nothing but this is a syntax to create the delta live table. So as you can see here in this notebook, since I have defined like this, so you have got the delta um, option here. So I will come to this part. For that, let's go through this code once. So delta live table, as you know, it is very much used in the uh, uh, is very much used in as a declarative ETL framework, wherein you can stream the data from the source as a raw table in the bronze layer. Like you might have read about the medallion architecture, wherein you will store the raw data in the bronze layer, more filtered data in the silver layer, and then the more aggregated data in the gold layer. Okay, so so that is where these delta live tables are used mostly. So it will stream the data from either from IoT or streaming devices, or from the uh, cloud files, etc. So here this is just a syntax. Like I said, we are saying this the table properties is of quality a bronze, and then these are all just the error handling, which says what if it fails this rule, what we have to do. So I have just followed from the documentation. We can also further refine these code, or we can write however we want based on our convenience. And this is just a function wherein read stream is usually used to read this data streams. So here, as I mentioned, this first approach is using Kafka. So we have mentioned Kafka, and then we have this code in the notebook. So after having this code ready, PySpark code ready in the notebook, the next thing what we have to do is we have to create a pipeline. Okay, again I had already created the pipeline. So the pipeline is for what is to just to call this notebook. So delta live table cannot be called directly from the notebook. For that we need to create a pipeline. I will quickly show. Okay, so this is how I have created using this GUI, wherein in the documentation you can see they had given the JSON. Okay, so I will quickly walk through the settings that I have done in the pipeline. Okay, so what we have to do here is, firstly we need to give a name, and then product edition you have three options: core, pro, and advanced. So I tried to be cost effective by selecting core, but so some options mentioned in the PySpark code may not work. Like these things may not work if you go for core. So you have to select that as a pro. Sorry, you have to select that as an advanced. Only then those two lines will work. And then here I've kept it as triggered, wherein in the actual case this should be continuous, so that it as you can see, it can continuously the clusters will be always running to ingest the data as it arrives. So here in the for the purpose of demo I've kept it as triggered. And then path, so this is where we need to browse to the notebook path. So only then the delta live table and the connection to Azure Event Hubs everything will work. Then we have the destination. Here I have just mentioned the target schema will be default. As I mentioned, I have a premium account wherein this catalog got created while I created the workspace, and then I have a default schema, so I'm going to put it here. Okay, so that is about this target schema, basically where we need to write this data to. And then I don't have any cluster policy, and these I have given. So this is where we configure, okay, so as a key value. So if you see in the documentation, so all these things where they had given like spark.conf configuration.get, those are all, if you had given as it is in the as it is here in this documentation, if you have used it like this in the notebook, what you need to do is you need to set the values here as a configuration. But as I said, I have hard coded for the sake of demo. Okay, so now going back here, and those are the settings mainly. Okay, so after creating the notebook and the job, what we can do is we can run this job. Okay, so before running this job, I will show you what and all issues I had faced when I tried to run this. Okay, so one main issue I faced was when I tried to run this job and to invoke the delta live table notebook. If I show you here, so I got error saying Azure quota exceeded exception. So whenever you get this exception, in here itself they will given which resource needs, like they have mentioned this total regional core needs more quota. So what you can do is you can go to your Azure, subscription, and then what you need to do is there will be usage and quotas. You need to click on the resource for which you need more quota. You can request for that, you can click add, select that and go for the additional quota request. So in the error message itself they will say how much more quota you would need, and you will get, so in few minutes it will get provisioned. In some cases you may need to create a support ticket if that is not done. Okay, so that also you can do it like from here itself. And after that what you can do is now what I will do is I will show a demo of this first approach. So after creating the notebook and the job, the demo, I will run this and show you. So firstly what I will do is I already have this a table, delta live table with this name. So what I will do is I will keep it as 1, and then now what I will do is I will go here, I will start running this. So for the first time it will take some time to get the resources allocated. So I will not uh, generate the data using generate data option in Event Hubs. So I will first time I will let this run first. So it will take few minutes. While it is getting ready, what I will do is uh, I will quickly share some details around the approach 2. So for this approach, first approach we saw, we are using Kafka Connector as it is compatible with Databricks. We don't need to do anything. Whereas for this, what we need to do is we need to add a library. So MAVEN library. So we need to check. So here, if you see, we need to, based on our cluster configuration, we need to add the respective MAVEN coordinate. So how to add it, I will show while the job is running. Okay, so how to do that is, what to do is we need to go to our compute and then click on our name, the compute name, go to the libraries, then install new. So in this case we need a Maven library, so we will add that library name and then click on install, so it will get added. So this is required for the second approach. Okay, let's see. It's still getting started. So let's go further with the approach 2. After adding this library, we need a notebook. Okay, again for this also what we need to do is again this PySpark code is from this documentation, wherein again I have hard coded all these, the endpoint URL and all. The best practice is to get this from the key vault. Okay, so they let me go through this code. So they have a variable for connection string, and then they are defining the consumer group, then the PySpark code which reads the event hubs using the event hubs connector, and then we have the schema as I mentioned in the event hubs. I'm going to use the sample weather data sample data set, so I have defined that schema here, and this is just passing that schema and then writing this to a delta table. Okay, that's all we have here. Okay, so the first approach, we are using Kafka connector, and it writes to a delta live table. That is where we need a pipeline to call this as a job. For the second one, we just have a notebook, so this requires a notebook plus pipeline. So this requires only a notebook, but as a prerequisite it requires a library MAVEN coordinate to be added plus notebook with PySpark code. Okay, now let me run the, once my clusters are up and running, I will show the demo of both the approaches. Okay, so let's see if this has still running. While this is running, what I will do is I will show a demo of the second one, as I have added the MAVEN coordinate as a library, and the notebook is also ready. Let me show this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to run this notebook. While I'm running this, I'm going to start generating the data from the event. Okay, so then what I will do is I will go to my SQL editor, and I will connect to my see, I haven't got that table yet. Okay, I think the first one is ready now, wherein we have this. Yeah. As you can see here, this is started now. So but you can see 0 records. Okay, because this took some time to get the resource and start. Okay, whereas we don't have the continuous streaming data here. I'm just using this sample data set. I'm simulating some data stream. Okay, so let me stream this. Let me run this again, start this again, and then I will send the streams of data from event hubs. So for the second run it should take less time because we might already have the resources ready. We can see the details here. Now if you see here, if you click on this, so as you can see here, it has written 10 records. Okay, so we can see the data quality by clicking on this and few other details, the validations which we placed in the PySpark code. Okay, now as you can see here, it has streamed 10 records, and even in this generate data you can see this is sending 10 events. Now let us also query this and see from the SQL editor. So if I just right click and select preview data, so this is from my catalog, workspace catalog, default scheme, deltalake. As you can see here, it's a streaming table. So this is how the data will look like. Therein, in the parsed records column, you will find JSON as such. So as it is a raw layer, the bronze layer further parse this the next layer, this JSON in the next, and we have got 10. So sorry to jump here and there. So we saw a demo for the first approach. It took some time for the cluster get started. So we saw the first approach, demo for the first approach. Now let us see the demo for the second approach. Second approach, what I need to do is, so for this one, for the first approach, we need to start the job here. As it is a deltalake table, we need to go to the workflows deltalake table. We need to create a job and we need to start this job to invoke the notebook. Whereas for this, it is just, we are just going to write this to a delta table called weather data underscore eh, like from event hub. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream this data first, and then I'm going to run this again. Sorry, name is not defined. Made a typo somewhere here. Okay, what I will do is in the interest of time, as this is getting recorded, try to quickly fix this. And now let's run this. Let's see if this, yeah, I think that was the, so if you if you find this useful, I will paste these two PySpark codes into my GitHub, and I will paste the as a reference in the description section. But though these are all from the documentation, if you are fine to follow this from the documentation itself, fine. But still, if you need the reference from what I have tried, I let me know in the comments. I will paste it. Okay. Now let's see the table. So let me refresh it here. So we have this EH. So now EH is nothing but so again the weather data sample data set. EH is using the Event Hub Connector. I've just given the naming that, and now if I query this table, see I have got. So as it is streaming continuously, so for this I have just given 5 columns in my PySpark code, wherein I have while parsing I've just given 5 columns. Okay, so now what I will do is as I'm using my own subscription, I will disable this. I will also stop this. So this is all about streaming data from Event Hubs to Databricks Delta. I hope you find this video useful. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.